Okay, right. Hello, Wycombe Comic Con. I hope you're all having a wonderful time. It is, of course, the second day, and there's lots coming up. But first, we're going to be having a talk with the lovely Kitty Brooker over here.
Hello.
Who is, of course, the guest here today. So I just want to sort of get straight to it. How did you get into cosplay?
Well, I started modelling 6 years ago, just to build my confidence up, because I was a really shy person in school, didn't really have many friends, and I thought I'll give it a go, see if I can show my inner confidence. So I started modelling, went to conventions for 6 years, and only in like the last 2 years I've really got into building costumes and showing up more online of what I can do in cosplaying, so that's really how I got into it. I thought, I've done modelling, I've done illustration and art at university, I thought, why not combine the two and actually get on with it, so.
Yeah, I mean, you are quite multifaceted in that, you know, obviously you cosplay, you obviously did modelling as well,
yeah.
But you were an illustrator. How did did you say you studied illustration? How did you get into that?
I just loved art from ever since I was little. Like, it's the thing I'd done all the time in my spare time. I'd done it at Oxford and I'd done it at Middlesex University, and I was inspired by everything like gory. I really like zombies, even though I don't like horror films or anything, but I was always just, there's so much stuff you can draw with zombies and like really dark stuff. So.
And it's amazing what people are willing to draw when they're not very into the subject, and they're like, but they look so fascinating.
Yeah, no.
So, of course, you were talking about building cosplays. What do you tend to use in terms of materials?
I use EVA foam from Hobbycraft, like the really thin stuff, because then you don't have to heat it up with a heat gun and try and mould it. This stuff, once you put hot glue on, it will just stay in place. So that's the main thing I use. I want to try and use Gorilla Glue. I've heard that's really good for putting your props together. But yeah, basically just EVA foam and hot glue. And I've also like experimented with castings. So like what you cast your arm with when you're breaking your arm or something. That's how I made the breastplate. So you can actually mould it to your body rather than trying to craft foam on top of like sauces and stuff to get like, around this. You can just literally paint it on you, let it dry, and it's done.
Nice.
Quick.
So obviously you've got your, I think it's Lady Death on today. Would you like to run through what you, bit by bit a little bit, how you put this together and what you've used in terms of materials?
Okay. So I actually, I've got a lot of friends on Facebook that do cosplay, and they were really helpful because this was my first build I'd done. So I was asking them for advice and what patterns to use. So I got patterns from online with them. And then I just started, I didn't have a plan, and you never have a plan when I'm building cosplays. I literally just do it off the whim, and I just kept adding more and more. So I used the EVA for all the scales, and used like a gel pen with little like highlights and stones, and yeah, just kept going. I used an old dress that was studded to get all my studs, which is a really cheap way of putting studs on your cosplay, because if you buy them separately they're really expensive. So just recycling what you have at home, really. Skulls were from a Halloween prop, and bullet belt was from a Halloween prop as well, and just using what I could to build a costume. So yeah, it's I'm calling it battle scarred at the moment because it's falling apart. It's lasted a year now, so
it's always battle damage. We were talking about it yesterday. We were like, you know, no, it's not damage. It's not broken. It's battle damage.
Yeah, battle damage.
It's completely battle damage. So of course you've been doing this. I mean, how long have you been cosplaying? Did you say?
Coming up to 2 years.
2 years or so. Lovely. So obviously you've sort of been at a lot of different events. How are you finding actually guesting? I mean, obviously it's one thing to attend a Comic Con, but it's a very different thing being a part of the con. What is that actually, how has that been for you?
Yeah, it's quite a big, like a different jump from just attending them. I feel I'm a lot more tired at them because you've got a really early start. So we travel all the time. We live in Worcester, and some of them we attend in London and stuff. You have to leave at like 4 o'clock in the morning and drive there, and then you're spending the whole day until 6 o'clock talking. So a lot of energy drink is needed. And it takes me about 2 weeks to prepare for a con with all the prints, promotions, making sure the cosplay's done, and everything's all set up and ready. So yeah, it does take a lot of time to
I can only imagine. I mean, what sort of reception have, because obviously you've been cosplaying for a while, but you're sort of relatively new in terms of, you know, sort of coming onto the scene and being more prominent.
Yeah.
How have you found that?
You get mixed reactions, of course you do with anything, like, but I found like the more cons I'm doing, the more kind of you do get negative reactions, because obviously you're new to the scene and people don't know you, but they don't know what you've done in the past. Like I said, I'd done this because I got bullied at school. I wanted to cosplay, and it was my way of just showing my confidence, and I really enjoyed it. And if I hadn't have done that, I wouldn't, like, just done that one shoot when I was like 16, I wouldn't be doing this now. So I don't regret it at all. It has been an amazing experience, and at the moment, like, life is just insane. I work full time as well.
What do you do for work full time? You don't mind me asking, obviously.
No. I'm training up as a team leader in retail. So yeah, doing all of this and doing that as well, and an apprenticeship as well, actually. So I'm keeping myself busy, but that's the best way to be with this.
You're essentially doing a me. You're just doing basically sleep is optional.
Yeah. No, sleep does not happen at the moment.
Absolutely. So, what sort of cosplays do you want to do? So you've done Lady Death. You've actually made, although you ended up sort of not using a Princess Peach. How did that go, by the way?
That was one of the ones where I experimented with really thick foam and tried a heat gun. I've decided I don't like that now. For that one, I learned so much. Like, I'd done a lot more detail onto it. It was really sparkly. It was a warrior Princess Peach. And it was really fun. It took me a whole week to make. I literally took the week off work and was like, I'm going to make this cosplay. But in the end, I decided to give it away online for someone that didn't know how to make a costume. So yeah, done a giveaway, and the person that's got it now really appreciates it. So
and at least then they can have a look at it and go like, that's how that's put together.
Yeah, I made a video. Done a time-lapse video of how I made it. So that's just to show people like my method of making a costume.
So what kind of cosplays do you want to do in the future?
I want to do Deathwing. It's by Zach Illustrations. He created it for Just Becos, and he's asked me to do it as well. So I'm just like, I need to find the time to do it though. So that's the next one. It's going to light up as well. My partner's an electrician, so I was like, can you just put lights in it for me to make it extra like sparkly and amazing?
And obviously, a lot of people take inspiration from things like, their favourite television shows and stuff. Do you find that illustrations are more inspiring to you, or do you find that it's still a mixture of inspirations?
I think since I started cosplaying, I'm a lot more determined to do more stuff. With illustration, like, if I actually sat down at home and I was like, right, I'm going to draw something, I would spend the day, but I'm not like, oh yeah, I'm going to spend this week doing that. But with costumes, I'm like, no, I need to get onto this and actually start my costumes and do more stuff with my time. Whereas illustration was my biggest passion before this, but now that I can combine it with my work, it's a lot more.
And of course, obviously, with female cosplay, sometimes there is the issue of, sort of photographers who might sort of photograph without consent or something. Have you had any particularly sort of negative experiences?
A few, yes. I always smile though, I'm never rude, but I have had a few photographers that push the boundaries when talking to you in a shoot. I had I'm not going to name drop, but newspapers are find, all the online newspapers are quite forward, as I want to say. And also people interrupting on shoots with camera phones, when it's a private one. I'm happy to take photos. This is the thing with cosplaying, we're happy to take photos for people, but when you just don't ask, you're not getting the cosplayer's best work, and then you're not showing off your work as well, especially as a photographer, and you just try and get a sneaky photo of you eating. I had that at a big convention.
Really?
Where I was just drinking at my table and people were just trying to take photos. And I was just like, you can just ask me and I will do a pose and I'll have a photo of you. And that way we both get something we can both use.
Well, yeah, absolutely. So obviously, just to sort of wrap this round a little bit, what sort of advice would you have for anyone who's new into cosplay, or actually in particular in your experience, models who are thinking, this cosplay thing, I might want to look into it.
Yeah.
What kind of advice would you give to those people?
Take the time to research photographers, locations as well. I have had a few bad experiences, not that many, which is good, but I've lived and learned. Make sure you always bring someone with you to a photo shoot. Travel is important. Make sure you've got everything organised. Keep in contact with your photographer, and just be safe. That's the main thing. You need to think really sensibly.
Safety first, everybody.
Yes,
never worth it otherwise. Wonderful. So, what would you give advice to people? There are lots of different sort of girls, particularly teenage girls, and also teenage boys, you know, who get picked on and they might feel low and they might like, you know, I do want to cosplay, but, and even adults too, they might be like, I do want to cosplay, but I'm, you know, people think I'm too fat, people think I'm, you know, I don't have the right face, or I just can't sew, or I can't use glue. What advice would you give to those people?
Just think about yourself. Like, if you enjoy it, just go for it. Don't care what anyone else thinks. Like, I've learned that. You just bat away the hate. If someone points out something, like, they obviously don't have a life. Like, if you're enjoying yourself and you look happy and you are happy, then just keep going. Like, when I was at school and through uni, I got picked on a lot, and I've just taken it in my stride and just like, no, I'm going to carry on doing what I do, and this is what happens now. And now I'm touring the country, which is, if I'd listened to the people that were saying stuff, I probably would have given up my dream, and nothing would have come from it. So just keep at it.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for your time. You can obviously catch Kitty on Facebook. What's your Facebook page called?
Just Kitty Brooker Cosplay.
Lovely. So you can catch her on Kitty Brooker Cosplay, and we'll have a link down in the description.